What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Flip My Base on Missed Opportunities. So Brian, let us hear about the Mutation.
Missed Opportunities is the map where we have to clear out terrazine geysers for Stetmann's bots to harvest. Then we have to protect said bots from enemies. If we lose more than one bot on brutal difficulty, we lose the game.
That's true.
Missiles launch from the sides of the map into our buildings. Our buildings respawn for aim on when we lose them. And every 10 minutes, a Purifier Beam spawns and chases our stuff and deals damage.
So it's not particularly difficult, so there it is, the reveal. It's actually a brutal +1, so it's actually a brutal +1. I know there are some brutal +1s that feel more annoying than they are, but this one actually is a brutal +1. So, with me today are Tutu and Stixbender. How are you guys today?
Great.
Doing pretty good.
That's awesome. So, let's begin. Tutu, how are we gonna rate the commanders this week?
So, I guess whichever commander can deal with the missiles, that's the main one. While being able to have a good army on the field that's mobile because of the Purifier Beam. So you want to avoid that.
All right. So Tutu, where do we rate Abathur?
Abathur. So he, as always, takes a little time to get started, but you don't really have to rush. You don't really need the Brutalists until like you get one by 5 minutes. So if you can get one without even rushing it. Once you get 3 Brutalists, you can pretty much like take care of whatever nukes come, and you can get Leviathans for pushing bases, and then Swarm Hosts for extra missile defense. So just pretty solid. Takes a bit of control, and getting like moving around to get biomass, so he gets his usual B.
Okay, how about you, Sixpender?
I'm surprised to see him as high as B, but you were saying you would use mass swarm hosts to shoot down missiles?
With Brutalists, or just lots of Brutalists?
You are legitimately recommending P3 for this mutation.
No, but that you can. If you have enough,
Okay.
you always get them.
What are you going to use for missiles without P3?
Brutalisks. I actually think
Okay,
P3
is
isn't that
3
bad
enough?
for this mutation. I would recommend P3 Abathur for this mutation, just because you can
It's so
get
easy.
Yeah. Well, not just because it's so easy, because they can shoot down the enemies. They just power through everything, and you can just deep tunnel. You can fly around, not
Literally.
die.
Missile command is going to be the biggest threat in the entire map, so it's okay to sacrifice your power everywhere else to deal with missile command. Hooray!
You make spores, and then when a nuke comes, you deep tunnel one Brutalist under it, and then it'll go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You need so many spores to shoot down missiles. But yep. All right then. B makes sense.
okay, there we go. So Abathur B. Arcturus, where do we have him?
He's a Terran commander, so he can repair.
Yep.
He has hit scan,
scan.
so he can knock down missiles easily without looking back. And you can use P3 or P2 and just have an army on the field. So
Top bars also.
yeah, so I put him in A, just because you still have to work.
Yeah, I guess. How about you, Sixpender?
Well, what's the justification for not S?
Yeah, I was wondering why not S? Because he has to work apparently.
You still have to like move your army and dodge the Purifier Beam, and you have to remember remember to put enough bunkers around, because you're not going to put like all the bunkers then make your army. You kind of have to gradually add to the defense as more missiles come.
You could put all the bunkers, to be honest, because literally 6 of them is enough with like 3 troopers in each. You can have that by the time the first bot gets back.
I would actually argue
and then you're done.
I'll actually argue to not put bunkers down until you have like economy substance. Prior to that point, you can just kind of out repair the missiles.
Yeah. But you can have all your bunkers set up by like the time the first bot gets home, and then have an army by the time the second bot wave spawns. Should be fine.
Yeah, I actually think he's S. Is S okay, Tutu?
I don't think he's good.
Anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
That's beside the point. Yeah, I actually think Arcturus is an S, but if we can't convince Tutu, if it's not unanimous, unfortunately, even though I want Arcturus to be S, but so it's not S. All right. By the way, for Alarak without prestige, is he definitely C?
He's much worse.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Okay, so Alarak
He's
without
more
prestige.
like D without prestige.
Yikers.
You need destroyer spam.
All right.
He doesn't. I would say he's like E without prestige. He's
Well,
really bad.
He has photon cannons at least.
All
That's all he's got going for him.
So that's E.
Yeah.
Artie, where do we have him?
He's terrible. Yes. Artie, he's also pretty terrible.
At least he's still pretty. He's not ugly terrible.
Yay. You don't have hit scan anti-air except for Archons. And I don't think you're going to be setting up a missile command defensive. Yes, I have managed to perfectly ring Archons around my base. They will now reach up and zap the missiles.
If they can reach it. If they're not in reach, they might derp around.
Yes. Hopefully they'll actually get them. I'm sure it will be fine. Yes. Brilliant.
200 IQ strategies right here.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's not great. You can also use Dragoon based. When I soloed this, I used Mass Dragoon. I used
Ouch.
P2, and it was basically just I stayed at home except for during the bot waves when I summoned out on the map, and then as soon as all the waves going for the bots were dealt with, I just jumped home and was like, all right, back to shooting down the missiles before all my buildings that are now at red health are dead. Yeah. You need tons of redundant pylons in order to make sure you don't get your entire base depowered. It's all bad. It's not pretty. You have to brute force versus missiles, and nobody likes that. So, but hey, at least we made it so that the Archon dudes no longer get their damage orbs shot down by point defense drones now.
That's
with
something.
the latest bug fix patch. So at least he's got something.
At least he's not F.
Yeah. Anyways, do we put him in D tier or E tier?
Yeah, what do we put him to?
Probably D tier.
I put him in E.
E.
Because if you're gonna use Dragoons for defense, then your standing army on the field is really small. And if you use P2 and teleport back and forth, sure. I guess with your ally that helps, like the getting the vision part, that helps. But what I usually do for the nukes is I get Storm and I storm the PDDs so that the goons can kill the missile.
Why not storm the missile?
I aim for the PDD because they're usually in front, and then the storm, like the missile will run into the storm, and I'm guaranteed to get a PDD that way, or get a few of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually had Artanis in D for the sole reason that if he has Garden Shell and he gets nuked, he says, "Aha! My probes are not dead yet."
Yes.
Or not get nuked at all.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not opposed to E either. So do we put him in E?
Sure.
All right.
Not that good.
Dehaka, where do we have him?
I think people don't know how to defend against missiles with Dehaka. Will have a lot of trouble. So what you do is you get your Primal Warden, then you have it stand up. So you have it stand up until you get the second building. What was it? The Mervar's Den?
Oh, Mervar's Den, yeah.
Mervar's. After you get Mervar's Den, you should have it sit down. Then you get Creeper Hosts. If your buildings aren't dead, hopefully you haven't lost anything by then.
You also need to get the shooty uppy upgrade from Mervar's Den.
You don't need that. Oh yeah, you do for the creeper host.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you gotta get. I usually get that right away. But yeah, so you surround your base with creeper hosts just everywhere, and then your minerals can go into primal worms for extra like health,
Shooty
I guess.
downy things.
Yeah, and then the good thing about this one is that you just need pack leaders on the field.
That's true.
So he's defending the pack leaders, or Dehaka will be defending the bots, and like everything else can go into your army. And once you have enough creeper hosts, you get mutalisks, so you can help out for the like later waves. But it's a lot of like you need to know how to defend, and you need to you need to know how to defend this. So it's the early game is really rough. So I put him in D.
D? Wow. How about
D.
you, Stickspender?
So I know that this is more like a problem with soloing because Dehaka is just so late to have anything for the missiles. And that's why there's a problem with soloing, where it's just like, oh, your buildings are dead before you even have anything that shoots up. But I remember when I did the solo of this mutation, I also did the solo of quite a few, like a handful of different missile command mutations with Artanis, at the same time as in Kerrigan was doing a handful of the same handful of missile command mutations with Dehaka, and I got every single one of them in significantly fewer attempts when I was doing it with Artanis than when he was doing it with Dehaka, because Dehaka just is awful against missile command. Like even worse than Artanis against missile command. That's how low the bar has to be for him to still fail to clear it. Like Dehaka's awful against missile command. Yes, you have the creeper hosts as your eventual solution, but the missiles technically never get more so intense that they can overpower a maxed out Dragoon army. So technically, if you're waiting until an eventual point, even Dragoons can handle it by sheer quantity of projectiles. Creeper hosts have the 30-second cooldown on spawning new creepers, so like you're not gonna really be able to get every single missile. You're still gonna be eating missiles. It's just that at least you'll be able to deal with the nukes. I kind of feel like Dehaka is also E tier, but because he's simpler to use, because you don't have to do any like multitasking of like, I want to have army defending and army attacking. Yeah, you just have, I have 100% of my army defending, I have 100% of my top bar attacking. So I guess I could see him in D, but I would be inclined to put him in E.
Well, I would put him in D just because, you know, even if he has his entire army at home, he can still kind of be on the map with the Hawk and the pack leaders. Just for that fact alone, he can be, you know, doing two things at the same time, doing one thing terribly, but he can still kind of do it. So that's why I have him D. So
I mean, both can do the same thing, both things at the same time. It's just that Dehaka can do both at the same time, where he only uses top bar for one of those things, which makes it considerably easier to, you know, keep track of if you are, you know, not as organized.
So are you player. Like me? So are you okay with D?
Yeah, I am okay with D. I still think he should be E, but he is E in my heart, but I'm okay with D.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Fenix, where do we have him?
So Phoenix, he does have hit scan. He has carriers and he has conservators. Carriers definitely can form a defense, and it doesn't take that much. It doesn't take that much investment to just have a Keldalis on the front lines punching everything very angrily. So, basically, I think you should be able to basically hero solo the objectives with Phoenix suits, Keldalis, Tellus, and at home you just have carriers.
Conservators are somehow way better than Archons in this scenario because they're cheaper and they have longer range.
And because the missiles only have 5 hit points anyway, so the conservators still one-shot
them. Conservators are way better than Archons.
Conservators have like twice the attack speed of the Archons. It's just, yeah.
Are they so sad?
Yes. He's not bad. He has options, but he's not good. So he's
C.
somewhere in the BC range. Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Tutu?
I did the exact same thing as what Sticks described. You just have lots of carriers defending at home, and you get your champs on one key with the Phoenix suit, and you send them out. So you can always have like a conservator somewhere like away from the beams to get Caldalis and Talus shells if you want. Or you can have like the Arbiter suit warp the heroes that are like walking back if you need them back on the battlefield. I think it's pretty easy to deal with like the mutation. So I put them in B.
I actually have in C. So Sticks Better is okay with either B or C. Tutu says B. I say C. So we'll go with B. I think B is fine. Han and Horner, where do we have him?
Han Horner is Terran, so that's good. That's about it. Well, no, Han Horner is interesting because you can use P2. I think I used P1, but you can use P2, and you have one galleon at each base. You mass Reapers, and then you have SCVs patrolling to repair things with missile. You can repair missile turrets or whatever buildings get hit, and then when nukes come, you have to fly. And then you fly, and then you just like control click wherever the nuke's coming from, and then you fly towards the nuke and you shoot down everything really quickly. And then on the battlefield you have air army, so you just put all your air units, like probably wraiths, just put them all on one hotkey, and then that's like your F2, but just the air units.
Sounds way worse.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but at least they can repair. So I put them in D.
How about you, Sticks Bender?
I mean, yeah, I could see D or E if you're using P2. Why would you ever use P2 for this? Okay.
Why would you not? I didn't, but what's wrong with it?
Because you want 5 carrier galleons, not 2. Carrier galleons are your hit scan to shoot down missiles without having to manually fly Reapers. Yeah, you're gonna still want to lift off Reapers for when nukes come, but for like passively shooting down things, you're going to want to have as many carrier galleons as possible. Also, if you have a pure air army on a map where you're supposed to clear waves before the waves right-click an objective, you are going to have some comps where you just lose because you can't right-click Amon's army as fast as he can right-click the bot. So that's not good.
Yep. Case in point. Yeah. Where do you have him?
Probably C, maybe B, but probably C. They have a lot more going for them than Dehaka and Artanis.
Are you okay with C, Tutu?
I guess they're Terran, so
Terran good.
They have repair. They have carriers, just not a lot of them.
Okay, if you guys agree with C, so we'll split him with C. Karax, where do you have him?
Karax. So, anyways, I believe we can all put him in S tier and not have any questions, right? You can practically top bar solo the map. You have monoliths that ignore point defense drones, and monolith cannon good, shield battery good, repair beam really, really good. If for pretty much all the good allies, Karax is going to be able to fix their base anyways. And
Stukov hasn't been selected yet, by the way.
Yeah,
he's Terran.
Yeah,
he's Zerg. Come on, he's Zerg.
In this case,
No.
He is Zerg or Terran, whichever suits him best. Here, it suits him best to be a Terran. All his buildings are mechanical. Yeah, I said pure biological. That doesn't count, Stukov. His can be repair beamed.
Is it picture? Okay, fine. So,
you can repair beam his buildings.
S for Karax?
He's S tier, right? That's quite obvious.
You agree to?
I didn't use P3. I used P2, and with P2 you have an army, so you use carriers, and I used carriers on the attack, and I patrolled a group of mirages for defense. More like I just let my things get hit, and the mirages follow the nukes. So that still was fine.
So
Okay.
even if you don't shoot down the missiles basically at all, because I can already say from my experience using Phoenixes on Artanis that like those mirages were barely putting a dent in the missiles. It's just Repair Beam was handling everything. Which, yep, okay, I can see that. I'm pretty sure that Repair Beam is enough to handle pretty much all the missiles by itself.
I did
Karax.
P2 with another missile command. I used P2 for missile command a lot because his repair beam is good enough.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So S tier?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
without prestige, where do we have Karax?
P2 is the worst possible prestige for this, and he's still S tier with it.
All right, fair enough. For Phoenix, without prestige, is it still B?
Well,
I don't think he's prestige dependent here.
All right.
you still carriers.
For Han and Horner,
your carriers are going to need more shots with P2 to kill things, by the way. So, but then your army's stronger, so it's basically just like whatever you feel like using.
for Han and Horner, without prestige, is he still C?
Yeah, the none of their prestige's upsides are really going to do that much for them here, aside from no, that's right. Magmines get messed up by point defense drone. Yeah, now like none of the prestige the upsides are going to do that much. The only thing that's really going to happen is that the prestige downside of P2 is going to be atrocious. But other than that, they don't really care that much about prestige.
I think P1 is good though, because your Magmines.
P1 is the best, but not by that much, I would think.
Because of point defense drones.
Normally, when you try to camp away with Magmines, the random missiles that fly will trigger them. But with P1, they army
shoot
time
too
is
fast.
so short.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just wrong to assume that it's like you're gonna place those Magmines with P1, and there's going to be a point defense missile nearby, and the Magmines will not do anything.
I guess it's just
You
RNG.
must have been traumatized by PDDs.
Oh yeah. I mean, CTG can attest to what has happened with the whole RNG thing when he's playing with me. It's just like, oh well, I've never seen that happen before, but now it happens 7 times in the same game. Okay.
That's funny. Okay, so Kerrigan, what do we have him?
Kerrigan,
suffering.
If you use like P1, you can do what I did, which is you patrol all your Hydralisks, and they will shoot down all the missiles with their crack attack speed. Then you spread creep with your queens, and even if Amon kills the tumor, it becomes Amon's, but it's still creep. So
that's funky.
It's okay. And you have just pretty much Kerrigan on the field by herself with Ultralisks to help her later, and that was okay. If you don't do that, you can do the Omega thing where you just put Omegas everywhere, hope nukes go to a random Omega, and if they go towards the base, then you gotta pop Kerrigan out and catch the missiles, but you gotta pay attention. I think P1 is good here, but I don't know. So I put her in C.
What if the enemy's air?
Yeah, then you bring some Hydralisk with you, but
they're all gonna die.
You prefer the worm solution because you can be P2 or P3, so Kerrigan actually learns the ancient art of shooting up.
But that you won't know that until you get in. So
yes, I mean I'd prefer P2 or P3 in the first place, to be honest. But regardless,
yeah, where do you put him, Sixbender?
I'd also put her in C tier. It's fine.
All right, unanimous. So let's have her C. Nova, Terran, where do we have her?
Yeah, Terran, but also her hit scan sucks. Like, missile command solos with Nova have always been surprisingly agonizing because the Marines are just so terrible. You are probably better off literally just repairing instead of actually shooting down missiles.
That's what
aside from the nukes, which you use the Marines for the nukes, but like, Marines are so bad at their job.
That's what I was gonna say.
Bad at their job.
Why not just repair?
They get blown up by splitter missiles. They're like too few in number. They're not that tanky, honestly. They're really only tanky because defense drone exists when you actually use them for fighting units, and why would you do that? Her Marines are awful. Nova's Marines are just so awful, honestly. They're worse than P1 Rainer Marines. Yeah, she has repair. I would legitimately, honestly, not have a preference between being Nova here and being Han and Horner here, so I would put her in C.
Okay, how about you, Tutu?
I think Nova can use a Raven Seeker missile and kill a nuke.
Correct.
I think that works.
Correct, and I have done that in the past because Marines were so inadequate that I literally used mass Raven defense for missiles.
Well, I use P1 bio, so I make lots of Marines patrol them, and the few Ravens that I get, I put them near the Marines so they get healed. And then on the field, I have Nova with Ghosts and Marauders. And pew pew pew. Kills everything. Defense drones are good. You have top bar. Although Bio Nova is like use a lot of minerals, so you probably don't have that much money for strikes, but you can. So I put her in B. I think like I had so many Marines that I don't think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah, so P1 you can get enough Marines to shoot down missiles. Unfortunately, you don't have that much army with Nova. You can have some ghosts, a couple. It's not a lot.
Yeah, so remember that macro thing I told you guys about? I think that also applies to Nova if you don't, I don't know.
Oh
I guess
yes,
you
we
could-
also put Alarak in C tier because he wasn't allowed to press F2, but we're not complaining about that for Nova.
Oh,
or
I am.
Phoenix,
Don't worry about it. I am putting that complaint on Nova. That's why I
We're
also
not
have her
putting
in
it on
C.
Phoenix either, but I mean,
Phoenix is one key, so I can
Yeah,
get
Phoenix-
it. Nova, I can see the null F2 thing, but Phoenix P2, you just put all your champs on one key, and it's basically F2.
Yeah. You just replace F2 with a different key. But yeah, I think Nova's also C because of the same deal as Alara.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Okay.
I'll
Statboy.
be back. Stetmann. So, well, missiles are painful. At least you can put your entire army into shooting down missiles because Gary doesn't need any help.
Yes. Yeah.
Eminent Domain.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make
Eminent Domain.
spores. Just make your entire army of
No. Eminent Domain, your Steadalites don't revive.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, they do revive 50% of the time. Don't use P1. Just because Eminent Domain, don't say, oh, don't worry, we'll get to keep the Steadalites. Yeah, Gary's no longer even a tiny fraction the power level. You've just basically thrown out our hero unit for these Steadalites, but I'm sure that's a worthwhile exchange. No, it's not. You are better off using P2 Stetmann and just, slowly moving around and placing Steadalites highways when you need them to get around. And you have the ability to use his project power fields and get around. So honestly, it's not actually nearly as bad as you think playing P2 against Eminent Domain. But it is a thing. So that's not great. And your ability to shoot down missiles is you're gonna make a blob of Hydralisks, and you're gonna have for nukes, you're gonna have 3 corruptors because their spell will bypass point defense drone. So that way you can kill nukes with the corruptor spell and kill other missiles with hydras. And yeah, you're just gonna put everything into defense at home, and then Gary's going to have to just do the entire mission by himself. I mean, that basically sounds like Abathur's game plan with the Ultimate Evolutions. But instead it's Gary who is better than Ultimate Evolutions. So
Yes.
I would say he is pretty solidly B.
Okay, how about you, Tutu?
I think he's terrible for this one because people who aren't used to the not spreading the Steadalites getting killed, they're just gonna keep losing them, and then you're gonna use the E field, the field, you come out 1 minute, but then the waves last more than a minute. So you kill 1 or 2 waves, and then you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Firstly, It's not like there's like random like nuke rain or something to pop the Stetellites, so they aren't going to go down that fast if you're placing them around Gary and only ever placing them around Gary and not worrying about it. 2, technically, it's not that they don't revive; it's that they have a literal coin flip 50% chance of reviving. It depends on which process is first, the Eminent Domain or the revive thing. Literally, it's 50-50. You can actually test it. It's approximately 50% of the time they'll revive, approximately 50% of the time they'll die.
Interesting.
His missile defense is So if you
So was
aren't
Abathur's,
lucky, or if you don't have enough stuff shooting, or you don't go back and look at your corruptors and use the E ability, then the nuke is gonna hit you.
Okay, but this was fine for Brutalisks to have to look back, but not for Corruptors.
No, because you deep tunnel Brutalist, it'll kill it without even looking.
Will they? Will they get distracted?
No, why would they get distracted? You're deep tunneling under a missile, and you pretty much cleared the map.
And you're
like
using
by
this. You're
15
using
minutes.
this with the mini map. I'm taking it.
No, you go. I click one Brutalisk, and then, well, I have them on one key, and then there's 3 of them. I click one of them, click on the mini map where there's a missile, press D, and then continue.
Exactly.
That
Doing
is
it on
using
the
the
mini
mini
map,
map.
and you're assuming it's gonna work. Okay.
You don't
I
have to
guess
like
that's-
press another ability to target the nuke or whatever.
I would definitely just look at the missile either way. So it's like either I'm pressing the teleport here ability or I'm pressing the delete this nuke ability. It's not a noticeable difference.
Yeah, I
There's
agree with that.
no tier
Yeah, but
difference between
I'm
Abathur
saying
and
I'm
Stetmann.
saying he sucks. I'm saying Stetmann is bad.
No, he's
Like
not
how
got a
bad?
notice.
How
He's
bad
not,
were you
he does not
saying?
get a tier difference between Abathur and Stetmann.
I put him in D, just
D?
for
No.
he's Terran, but
Yeah, that
he's
too. He can repair his buildings.
he
Yeah,
can
he can
repair. That's
repair.
good, but that's as far as it goes. I don't think he's.
You can
'Cause,
even
like,
forego missile defense. You just keep making workers and just have it repair infinitely, while you go solo Super Gary.
Yeah. As long as you have corruptors to spell down the
You can even go
nukes.
infestors and stuff, because you'll be spending minerals to repair.
If you know how to trap the beam, then you could try to get it in the corner with overlords. At least one of them. That would help.
Okay, how about this? Sticks better says B, T2 says D. Ashley said B also, but how about we compromise with C?
That
Okay.
that feels really wrong because I kind
I
of feel
know.
like Stetmann is a better Abathur, but
I know, but
you know what? I already am pretty sure that everyone in B is considerably better than Abathur, and some of the people in C are considerably better than Abathur. So fine, I guess so. I'm just gonna pretend Abathur isn't there. I'm just not a little look at Abathur. Abathur's way over tiered right now.
looking at Phoenix and Raynor, Phoenix doesn't have to care about getting biomass, doesn't have to care about dodging the Purifier Beam because he just keeps sending new champions, and Raynor doesn't have to care about defense, whereas Abathur has to care about both. So I actually, I think I can see
Raynor I kind of thought was A tier, but yes.
I can see Abathur being C now, and then Statboy along with Abathur for C. We can put it that way. Yeah, we can do it like this. There we go. Both of them are C. Is that okay?
All right.
All right.
I
Stukov.
see that.
Stukov. Why not S? Why not S?
Why not S?
Purifier Beam.
Yeah, and it takes him time to reach the far places. Like because all your bunkers will be at home.
Oh yes, that's right. If your bunkers are at home because of Purifier Beam, you actually can only just barely reach the far corners of the map.
Well, if your Purifier Beams are attacking the infested, that gives you room to move some of your bunkers.
Okay, but if the Purifier Beams are attacking the infested, the problem is the time. If they are standing on the infested trail, then the time it takes for the infested don't walk through it and survive. They just die. So if a beam ends up on the infested trail, that infested trail is completely and utterly cut off. Hard stop. 0 infested get through. 1 beam. And this is the problem with Purifier Beam against P3. and it doesn't
So-
go away. It doesn't go somewhere else. As long as the infested trail remains there, the beam has no reason to move, so it won't. It'll just stand there and vaporize all the infested.
We'll need to lure it with an overword,
Gone.
which is like an additional skill requirement. Fine. So where do we have him instead?
I put him in A.
I put him in A as well.
Okay, A's not bad. A's good.
A's
so,
not bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
But he's definitely not S.
One thing to remember is that with P3, you should put barracks near your bases, because if you're infested, don't spawn, or you don't have enough of them, and a nuke comes, you're dead. Like, you're gonna get nuked. So you should put emergency barracks nearby. So when you see a nuke, you just build from the barracks and shoot it down.
Okay. That sounds sensible.
I'd rather box select a couple of infested coming from the bunkers, but either way works.
Yeah. Swann, where do we have him?
A, because like I would have put him in S, but we put Mengsk in A, and he's definitely not as good as Mengsk. But he's good. You have a laser drill that can do much of the mission. You have missile turrets, which with the missile pod things end up firing like 10 projectiles per second or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So point defense drones have a terrible day. Point defense drones are just going to run out of energy, basically. You have repair. It is free.
Free.
You also have structure health mastery, so your buildings are nice and chonky, which Nova has that too, but yours are free.
Yeah.
And you have more of them. And you have really good missile turrets. And yeah, how you're going to do the mission is basically just going to be like levitating factories and
I use
laser
wraiths.
you can use wraiths. Wraiths are good. They're fast. They'll avoid the beam nice and easy. You can use Hercules to jump around an army. You can use basically anything. But the point is, a couple missile turrets and a couple SCVs on patrol, and missile command is nothing. Missile command will not be a threat to you as Swann, really. It's just that you have to actually, play normally, but with Purifier Beam, which means, oh, well, unless you're luring the beam, you're not going to be able to just build a giant blob of turrets to spawn camp and call it a day and go AFK. You'll need to get the patrol pattern factory thing to trap the beam if you want to go AFK defense with Swann, but that's it. It's just you can't go AFK for the last 5 minutes unless you know how to do that. And if you know how to do that, and I'm honestly, I'm not kidding, it's just patrol it in a box around the beam, and you will be shocked how easy it is to get to do it. And even if you do a bad job of it with repair drones, your factory won't die. Literally, I don't see any reason you shouldn't be able to AFK for the last section of Swann. It's just that it takes work to set up all the stuff, and it takes at least as much, if not more work than Mengsk. So therefore, I guess he's A tier.
Okay, how about you, Tutu?
I saw a solo with Swann P2 where the guy just uses call downs and then drops Hercs, builds like 20 turrets. He trapped the beams with factories. So
yeah,
that's one. But like if you trap the 3 beams, you pretty much can just do
play
whatever.
normally.
You defend with turrets and call downs. I did not have any missile turrets. I just had top bar, and it was fine. It was fun too. I put him in S, but I don't think he's S anymore. So I think A is fine.
All right, unanimous A. There we go. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus, he's Terran, and you just need one outlaw on the field, really, pretty much, which is Tychus.
Yeah.
And later you might want 2, but you don't really need it. So I used Tychus on the field, then I got Sirius, and then Sam, and then Nux. So by the time Nux comes out, you can have 2 outlaws killing waves, and Nux has good AoE. You can build the auto turrets for more hit scan help if you want, and then you repair them. So his defense is pretty good. His offense is very good. So I put him in A.
How about you, Sixbender?
He feels pretty B to me, to be honest.
Let me tell you a story, Sixbender. Ankalagan played this map as Tychus, and he lured the beams with the command center. He camped with turrets, and he won.
Just no commander, no outlaws at all.
So, Tychus was in stop position at my base.
So I would point out, we know that Tychus' turrets are bad, so that's basically just a testament to the fact that this is brutal +1. This is like no mutators. Like the mutators here is there's missile command. Yep, that's the mutator. Like that, like there's Purifier Beam tech, like Eminent Domain. Basically, everyone can ignore it except for Stetmann. Everyone can ignore Eminent Domain. Purifier Beam. If you trap Purifier Beam, not there.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything. So there is one mutator, one single solitary mutator, and that mutator has literally no effect if you're using hit scan.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's basically playing brutal +0. So yes, we know that Tychus can beat brutal +0 with meme strats. We know that everyone can beat brutal +0 with meme strats.
I still think he's A though. I don't see him. I see him
I'd
level
rather
as...
be Jimmy than Tychus.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because, well, okay, yeah. To be honest, if just the 2 outlaws is enough to defend the missiles, well,
You can also
I
have.
still have to manually go look at nukes.
You can also have turrets there. Turrets are hit scan.
Yeah. Okay, I think that I still think that Tychus is only as good as Jimmy, not necessarily strictly better, but I guess I can see the ease of use argument of, well,
Definitely.
for killing waves, you just have a Tychus here.
Grenade.
And we've definitely never ever seen, a series of clips watching Tychus players who managed to lose 5 outlaws to a single attack wave on brutal +0. Anyways, yes, we can put Tychus in A tier.
All right. Vorazun. Where do we have him?
She does have hit scan. There's a hit scan. She also has Dark Pylon, which makes all buildings inside of it regenerate shields 5 times as fast, which means she doesn't really have to shoot down anything except the nukes. So, well, sort of. She kind of has to defend the Dark Pylon. So what you do is you just park your Corsairs over the Dark Pylon. All the other buildings will just heal it off. It's fine. And just pop nukes with your Corsairs. Yeah, Vorazun can pretty easily handle all the missile command problems. And then from there, it's basically just play standard Vorazun, play completely normal. I feel like she can be B tier.
How about you two?
If the enemy has air units, then you probably need a few Corsairs out to help. But otherwise, if it's a ground comp, you just have lots of Dark Templar. And then what you do is during at least the 12-minute time stop, the one when you go to the third area, you take out all their detectors during time stop. You just every time you use time stop, you take out their detectors in the next area, and then you can clear the camp for free basically while you patrol like 10 Corsairs or so at each base. I don't even know how many. I put her in B as well.
3 Corsairs.
Where do you put her? Two?
B.
B? Alright, unanimous B. There we go. Wow. Zagara. Alright.
F.
Zeratul.
Zagara.
No, Zeratul.
Yeah, she's bad.
She's bad.
Your
Scourge will kill themselves if you aren't staring at them constantly.
I used P1 on Void Launch, that one with the aggressive deployment and missile command, and the other thing I forgot what it was.
That was Void Launch. That's
Yes.
like one of her best maps.
Yes. So, but then like that's also a long map, and this one
it's a lot
couldn't-
shorter.
It's nowhere
than this
near
one.
as long as it's nowhere near as long as missed opportunities.
Yeah. So
And
that's
again,
probably why
the
it kept running
entire
out.
objective is ram 5 Scourge. You did it! Main objective complete!
Anyway,
that's true.
so
But yeah, so you need bio launchers to target missiles, and if you've messed that up, there goes your base. So
Yeah,
F.
she's F tier.
F.
It's awful. It's awful.
alright, Zeratul.
A tier.
Wait, no one else is an S?
he's doing it on principle.
I'm yes. No, but seriously, to be honest, like, yes, you have monoliths, and monoliths are extremely good and free and all. They can't cover everywhere at once. Like, it can cover your base just fine. you can't cover your ally's base. And I feel like the S tier should be able to say, all right, me and my ally are both completely fine. Neither of us have to worry about missiles ever. Thank you, good night. Zeratul can't necessarily do that without effort. He can do that. You just need cannons. A lot of them. And you probably need conservators. And then you're potentially going to need to be on top of nukes. And then, you're going to want to, hero solo with Zeratul basically the entire map and not want to shade your cannons too much because they have to be at home defending missiles.
So where do you put him?
A tier? I'm holding to A tier. If like the other A tier commanders are so good already, I would put Zeratul in A tier.
All right. How about you, Tutu?
Shield guard. You only need one unit on the battlefield, so all your money, all your resources are going to cannons and shield guards. And shield guards fight nukes very well. You don't have to control them because you just put them around your base. You're not using F2. You're using whatever your hero key is, which is basically your F2. And then you don't have to. You just make cannons. You don't have to project them, but you can, for help, project a few of them to help out. You spread your monoliths. If you want to cover your ally space too, you can spread them out as well. If you're using P3, you get the support cooldown reduction, so you get more monoliths. And I thought it was easy S.
Personally, my ordering was S tier was Karax, then Manx, then Swann, then Zeratul. Zeratul was definitely the worst of those four, though.
I don't know.
So he fits into the A tier right now, although Stukov and Tychus kind of
I'm
barely
okay
fit
with
into
either
A tier
S
right now, but
or
don't
A.
worry about it.
I'm okay with either S or A for Zeratul. He's really easy to use. And yeah, cannons plus shield guard's good. Monolith's good. I think it's kind of hard to fail with Zeratul here.
Alright.
With an ally, I don't see how.
It's kind of hard to fail with a lot of the A tiers here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What was your reason again, Tutu, for not putting Zeratul in S?
I put him in S.
Oh. Yes, Expander.
Six put him in A.
Sorry.
Yes, I put him in A.
I have to apologize for it being 11 p.m.
Because Manx and Swann are better than Zeratul.
Arcturus and Swann are better than Zeratul?
I don't think Swann is.
Swann's laser drill can deal with the nukes literally globally, even if you are completely not on top of it, and it might even do it by itself. Your missile turrets can cover you and your ally easily. Your repair is free, so you don't even need missile turrets, but you can use them to cover you and your ally completely free. Don't have to worry about missiles at all. Laser drill technically can solo this map. P1 drill can technically solo this map. We've already established. But as you said, P2 can also do just top bar everything. It's Zeratul. Zeratul has to put all his money into defense and then use his hero unit. Swann puts a tiny fraction of his money into defense and then can use just his hero unit as well. But he has tons of money lying around, so he might as well attack with the money. Because why not?
Zeratul putting money into his defense also becomes his offense.
Okay, but Swann has much, much, much easier time trapping the beam, which means that your ally doesn't have to worry about the beam either, which means you and your ally can both enjoy a 0 mutator mutation.
That's true.
Also, I just realized, wait a second, we're forgetting something. Stetmann isn't the only one who cares about Eminent Domain. Cannon Projection Zeratul also cares about Eminent Domain when Zeratul gets murdered by his own cannons.
They're pretty weak.
That's only because Zeratul's hero unit is that strong. They're very strong. It's just Zeratul's hero unit is arguably the strongest hero unit in the game. I think I can see.
Not Super Gary. No, not Super Gary.
Yeah, exactly. It's between Super Gary and Zeratul.
Okay.
I think I would have to agree with Super Gary, but I could see an argument for Zeratul being the strongest. Just you'd have to argue very hard to convince over Super Gary. Second strongest. So yeah, that's the only reason the cannons are weak, is because the hero unit is so strong that he survives the cannons being angry at him. I would say Swann is above Zeratul here.
Okay. Well, considering that this is a brutal +1, I'm okay with putting Arcturus, Swann, and Zeratul all in S.
Given that we've already established that all 4 of those commanders, it's like
Yeah.
you're fighting 0 mutators. It's brutal
Yeah.
plus 0.
The effort you
We
put
already
in.
have Tychus in A tier because he was able to use a meme strat because it's brutal plus 0.
This reminds me of Doomsday Report, where Swann was basically double S.
Yes, Karax is double S here, isn't he? He really is.
So do we break out the first double S ever for Karax?
You don't kind of have to. It's double S in your hearts, right? In our hearts.
If you really want to, you could make this the first double S. Karax would kind of deserve that here. This is somewhere where Karax would actually deserve it.
It feels like a waste using the first double S and Brutal +1.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll save it for now. But
okay,
yes, Karax is double S in all our hearts.
Executive decision. We'll do this. All right, we can just have an argument on the rankings, but we can have 4 of them in S.
Honestly, the whole tier list looks like more realistic now because like Stukov and Tychus put in with Swann and Mengsk was like that's questionable. Because Purifier Beam messing up Stukov.
So who's the best among the S? I mean, who's the second best among the S?
I think this is the order of.
I think it's Zeratul. I still think it's Zeratul.
So it's either this or this. Oh, sorry, this or this.
Yeah, pretty much. It's that. It's one of those two.
One of those two. What do we care about most here? Okay, how about this? Consider how good you are at the game. If you're good at the game, then this is the ranking. If you're not good at the game, this is the ranking. How about that?
I feel like Zeratul's a lot less enemy comp dependent, because like Swann and Mengsk kind of. If they have a lot of AoE or immortals or something.
Yes, I suppose under very specific situations, they could end up actually having the comp make life slightly inconvenient for them. Zeratul, to be fair, well, Reaver Disruptor against Zeratul Hero Unit. Or anything Reaver against Zeratul Hero Unit.
If it's Reaver Disruptor, you still have the Legion.
Zoriel Legion.
Wait, no.
Not the Abathur, but the Legion.
Telbrus.
Telbrus?
Just Telbrus.
You can use either one.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, okay. The point stands. The point stands. Any Legion will take care of that, which I guess is fair. So, so are we okay with this? Actually,
okay.
Zeratul, Arcturus, and Swann. All right. So, who's better between Stukov and Tychus?
Stukov.
Stukov is easier.
All right.
Stukov is very
there it is. So for B, who's best between Fenix, Raynor, and Vorazun?
Raynor.
Raynor?
Yeah, Raynor.
Okay.
I personally would have. Oh, right. Yes, we put Mengsk in S. We can honestly put Raynor in A now.
Oh yeah. Do you guys want to put Raynor in A? Like bottom of A?
Bottom of A. Yeah.
All right, there it is. Raynor, you got an A. Raynor gets an A.
I used P1 against Disruptor Reaver.
Discussion over. Raynor's an A.
See?
It was like I lost 100-something supply in the
That's
last
inhumane. Why did you go P1?
Because I wanna.
That's self-induced.
Meme prestige on Raynor, and it still worked against Reaver Disruptor, and then you're saying Reaver Disruptor will be too bad for Raynor.
That's self-inflicted pain.
You're not me.
Get good.
Disruptor hit without P1, so it's fine. It's literally easier when you're not using P1 against Reaver Disruptor.
So who's better?
Hit points just so that the Reavers don't overkill. You're just doing the Reavers a favor.
Who's better between Fenix and Vorazun?
Oh, I would say Vorazun.
Vorazun? All right.
I think Phoenix is better.
Oh no.
Well,
the number of Corsairs you need to shoot down the missiles is so tiny, it just makes her so much cheaper than Phoenix.
There's also something to be said about the free Dark Templar, the free Shadow Guard that just kind of clear everything on their own.
Yeah, that's true. Although I think control-wise, Phoenix, you just have one key. It's like your F2.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, Vorazun, you also just have one key. It's just your F2, but Dark Templar.
But then
Well,
if
Dark
you
Templar
have to
Corsair
add
is the new
Corsair
problem.
to your army, then you have to like
Okay,
make
you
more.
can totally A move them all as one control group though. To be fair, just A move DT Corsair against brutal +0. That works fine.
Yeah, I guess. Alright, so Vorazun higher?
I would
Sure.
say yeah. I
All right.
think so.
There we go. Okay, for C, does anyone deserve a promotion?
No.
Tutu's
I
beatboxing.
could see Alarak at the bottom of B because he has the exact same game plan as Phoenix and Vorazun. Just he puts less money into his defense than Phoenix, but more than Vorazun, and then his army is going to be pretty similar to Vorazun's in strength. I would think. Phoenix definitely has the strongest offensive army of those three because Champion's good. Champion's very good.
Epic Arak discussion part 2.
I mean, there's not really much more to say than that. He's
Yeah.
got a similar game
Either
plan
you
to
agree
them.
or you
He's
don't.
just- he would be the
I
bottom.
agree that he does have a similar game plan.
He's a similar game plan, and I don't see too much difference in the actual cost, like the actual difficulty and cost. Like the difference between the actual performance in that game plan doesn't seem that significant to me between Alarak and them. Like he's definitely the worst of them, just not by that much.
I can see it because it seems like the C people need to pay attention to the nukes.
Alright,
Whereas the B guys, once you get them going, you don't really have to.
so we do it like this?
Although
I'm okay with this.
Nova P1 with lots of Marines and Kerrigan P1 with lots of Hydras also don't need to pay attention.
True, but
But
they're
then
having to
their
put
offense
they're like really putting their money into defense
Yes.
in a way that like none of the B tiers have to. They don't have to put that much money into defense. Nova has to commit her whole entire like Kerrigan and Nova have to put their entire money and commit their entire prestige pick all to having a defense that can hold off the missiles without them having to stare at their face.
Okay. So who's the best among the Cs?
Abathur?
That said, Kerrigan and Nova could probably be the best ones. Well, no, Han and Horner. I'd personally stick Abathur down with Stetmann and then say it's like more or less like that.
Something like this?
Whatever. Yeah, something like that. The first three could all be like shuffled around a little bit. To be honest, the first three are close enough that I wouldn't be offended if we moved them into any order.
Okay, how about you, Tutu?
I just don't think Abathur is that bad. Although he does require a lot of control. But
If he requires that amount of control, then
you're not like manually detonating nests or anything.
Still requiring that amount of control. Yeah, you also have to dodge the Purifier Beams unless you know how to trap the Purifier Beams with Overlords. Which again, it's you just have to know to do it.
It's a lot harder with Overlords than with Factory because
You
if
make
you
a
mess up
bigger
with
circle.
Factory, it just lives. Yeah, you make a bigger circle. It's pretty simple, really.
Yeah.
And to be fair, missed opportunities is like one of the easiest maps for trapping the beam because there's the
So big.
entire bottom left corner is just void. There's
Yeah.
nothing there.
So
This looks okay.
Yeah.
we'll just call it a tie. There we go.
Yeah.
Everyone in C
tier
is in a
actually-
tie.
C tier is actually pretty close and tight knit. Unlike B tier, where it's like pretty clear, there's like Alarak is like the weakest B tier, and Vorazun I think is pretty clearly the strongest B tier or something like. Now C tier is just like they're all like equal. They
Yeah,
really are.
pick your favorite among the Cs. Oh wait, does that boy deserve a demotion to D?
No.
No. Well,
All right.
not bad.
Dehaka. Okay, Dehaka, Artanis, then Zagara. I actually want to move Artanis up to D just to really hammer in.
Oh, I thought we were gonna move Dehaka down to E, but you know, I
Really?
guess either way.
It's fine. All right. There we go. So this is the tier list for this week, a giant F. So if you guys made it all the way here, hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I will link Tutu and Sticks Battle channels down below. And
press a giant F to pay respects for Zagara.
Yeah. Not just giant respect, everyone's also stepping on her. Because, yeah, she's at the bottom. And we'll see you guys next time.